everybody, it's Sharon here. Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and welcome to any new subscribers that may be visiting for the first time. Just a quick introduction for part 2 of my fabric and paper dyeing share video. I have had to split this video into 2 parts, so the first part should already be loaded by now, and this is part 2 in the sequel. I'm excited to be able to share these fabrics and papers with you. And I wanted to extend a huge thank you to Susan Taylor Brown for everything that you do and everything that you share, and for always inspiring. My inspiration for these papers and fabrics has come from watching Susan Taylor Brown's videos, so I truly am grateful. I really hope you enjoy watching, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Don't go anywhere, there's more to come. Okay, so this set here is my green set, and this was the first set of papers and fabric that I did. So it was the first colour in the paint trials, I suppose you could say. And it really set the tone for me falling in love with this process, because I pulled this set out and fell in love with the colours straight away. The other thing with this one is it's a combination of colours. So I actually started with the skin tone, and when I had the skin tone water, the saturated water, that was when I added my first piece of cheesecloth. I pulled it out, looked at the colour, and decided that there wasn't a whole lot of colour in the cheesecloth, so I set that cheesecloth aside and added the green to the paint water. I mixed that in. I started adding some fabrics, I think. Wasn't sure I was happy with the colour. Then I added a little bit of brown. I cannot tell you what brown I used, but I added a little bit of brown. I mixed that in, and I found that it stuck quite significantly in places, so I had to really work that. I didn't want big lumps of brown paint over a muted green, because I felt like it would be too intense. So that was where I first realized that I could work it with my fingers and thumb to end up with a softer, more muted tone of that color, and I absolutely love it. But I was also intrigued to know what the color would have come out like if I'd have just used, say, just the green without adding the brown, or just the cream color without adding the green. So the first set of fabric that I did, I've used 3 different colors, but after that I decided to stick with the one color and just play with the one color. And I must say, having tried both options, the sky is the limit, I feel, as to what results you could end up with. And I don't think any one batch that I do is ever going to be the same as the last. And obviously the color tone of your original fabrics, for instance, like I have 3 white based fabrics and 1 cream based fabric, but the whites are even a little bit different from each other, so that lends itself to having the same colors but variations in the color tones. So I cannot express to you how much I loved doing this and how much I adore the results. Like, I'm so excited by this. Okay, so my green papers are here. And I have my baby wipes and my paper towel. Isn't that gorgeous? Just love the way that turned out. I have a little bit of yellow on here. That ended up on my hand. I don't think it was actually in the paint. I don't remember. Or maybe I did use it in the paint. I don't recall. I didn't think I did, but I may have. I don't know whether I picked up the paint tube and it had a little bit on the outside or something. I honestly don't recall, but it's ended up on the paper towel, and that's fine. And then my painted papers, are they not adorable? I just love them. And I will say, it looks like there's a little bit of patterning on the paper, like almost like a texture. That wasn't from the paint, and it wasn't from anything I did. I feel like that has been achieved by the type of paper that I've used. So it started showing as soon as the paint water hit the paper, and it almost looked like the paper had a fabric inside it, if that makes any sense. So that was why I mentioned the paper that I've used. It was A4 Reflex white paper, 80 GSM. And I've wondered if I used a different paper whether I would end up with that same effect. I don't feel like I would, but it's so interesting to me to see that patterning on there without even trying. So love, love, love. Adore the green. I've been watching Susan Taylor Brown do a lot of her crafting, and she uses a lot of the green stained fabrics. And I've mentioned before, I'm not a huge green fan, but I had a need to make the green fabrics after watching her use them so much. So Susan, this one is for you. And the next set I have is this set here, which is a tea stain set, and I believe it was created using the Twinings Blackcurrant and Blueberry. Now I've got two in a similar tone, and I'm quite sure, I'm just worried that I've mixed them around, but actually maybe, I'm pretty sure this is the Blackcurrant and Blueberry, but in case I got it wrong, they might be in reverse. I apologize. I did get myself a little bit mixed up. I was trying to keep them all separate, but you know how it is. And I've done such a large number of different colors that I can't guarantee I've got it right. But so the Twinings Blackcurrant and Blueberry. The other one that I used that came out a similar color tone was the Mango and Strawberry, just so that you know. And I'll share that in a moment. Okay, so Blackcurrant and Blueberry. Really didn't know what color I was going to end up with, and I've got this beautiful pinkish tone, but it's ended up with little hints of purple in a couple of areas, and I just think it's adorable. And then the papers have come out almost like a grey. And I have a feeling this was one of the colours that I tried in winter, where my fabrics ended up being mouldy. And I had done the papers as well. The papers I was able to use because I dried those on my fireplace, so they were fine, but the fabrics didn't fare so well. So the papers have ended up in that grey tone, which I absolutely love. And I did actually use one of them in, you can see there's a slight purple coming through there now. I did use one of them on one of my snippet rolls where I made my tags for the hashtag 52 tags handmade challenge just recently, which I've uploaded to my Instagram and Facebook pages. I haven't actually done a video for that at this stage, but I loved that grey tone. I used neutrals for the tags, and I thought that was a perfect fit for the backing papers on those tags. So love that. And ironically, my paper towel and baby wipe, which you can see this is the one that I have tried to iron and it didn't come out so well, but they have stayed that pinkish colour. And so it's made me wonder whether there's some sort of chemical reaction to the paper that I've used, and whether if I used a different paper, whether I would have a different result. So that is food for thought for both you and myself. So the other thing I will say as an observation was that the difference between using the acrylic or gouache to the tea stain was that when you apply heat to iron or to dry, I feel like the potential of changing the colour with the tea staining was present, whereas nothing changed with adding heat to the painted papers or fabrics. So when I ironed these fabrics, for instance, they started looking a little bit more like the grey paper, and I wasn't sure whether they would stay like that once they cooled down or whether they would come back to their vibrancy, and they've come back to their vibrancy, which I really love. So that was a really interesting observation as well. So I kind of got two colours for the price of one from that one particular flavoured tea bag, which is kind of fun. But it also made it really difficult to remember which papers went with which fabrics in that respect, because they're not the same. So, and again, my temporary art, just love the way it looks. Again, I challenge you to give it a go yourself if you're feeling low in mojo. And it can be something that you revert back to, is this challenge. If you have a play now and you decide you like it, perhaps if at a later stage you're feeling low in inspiration or lacking mojo and you need to boost that again, you can try this temporary art challenge then and see if it can spark your creativity again. So I plan on reminding myself about this particular challenge further down the track if I'm feeling low in mojo myself. Okay, I still have 3 more to show you, which is far more than I realized. So I have a piece of thread that's just come off. I'm just going to sit that with those threads. So as I mentioned, I did 3 browns. Just making sure I'm in camera. So this one here, I think is the darker of, oh sorry, this is the middle of the 3. Yes, this is the middle of the 3. So this was actually the lighter version, which I will show you next, mixed with a little bit of, I think I added a slightly darker brown, but it was a darker brown with more red tones, and a tiny splash of black I think I added to this mix. So, and it came out showing out those slightly redder tones, and initially when I did it, the red tones weren't exactly what I was hoping for, which is why I tried the darker paint. And I love all 3. So really happy with the way they all look together as well. Just some more threads, fun threads. Just going to add those there. They will all work beautifully together. So this is the darker brown here. It doesn't have that redness to it that this one has, and I love both, and I love the way they work together. So that was why I decided to keep going with the neutrals. Initially I had only planned on doing 1 neutral, being brown. The skin tone or cream was a bit of an unexpected turn. I didn't plan on doing anything with that initially. Like I said, I popped the cheesecloth in to see what colour would come out. Didn't think there was much colouring there. Once it dried, I was surprised to see that there was colour, so I went back and I did the fabrics in that skin tone paint as well, and really love the way they've turned out. So sorry, I just realised I haven't popped that back into camera properly. Okay, so that is the first. Now with my papers, I kind of have a combination of papers to go with both sets. So that's my paper towel. I didn't do baby wipes with the brown from memory. And then just flipping you through so you can see the backs of the paper as well as the tops. This marking on here has come from having some of that paint water on the baking paper, and I painted over the top of the page, turned it over, and the colour that was on the baking paper is transferred onto the paper once it was put down, and I love it. A little bit grungy. They're just gorgeous. So they are the papers. Okay, and then this set of neutrals here, again, I will bring this across so you can see the difference. This one is a lighter, much lighter version, and I believe that was partly because it had some of that skin tone in it. Whereas this one, I don't know that it did. So bringing that back into camera. So this is the last of my neutrals, and I love all of them. I really, really do. You can see here, there's a slight area there that hasn't received any paint water. It's got the cream of the calico showing through. Really love that. Oops, just messed up my temporary art. Really, really love that. And although my hope was to cover all of the fabric, I don't hate the way it looks. So fun. Okay. So that was the last of the painted papers and fabrics. The last one I have to share with you is the tea stain. And this is it here. Oh my gosh, I just realized how long I've been videoing for. This has taken much longer than I anticipated. So this one here was using the mango and strawberry from the twining set. And this one I haven't actually created my temporary art with because I thought I would do this one on camera with you and show you what I did. So I'm taking, that will be the last thing I add, is my threads, and it's stuck. And I'm going to flip it upside down. So what I did was I had my backing piece on the bottom. Well, my large piece is the backing on the bottom. Then I added my second biggest piece, just laid that to the side. And then just looking to see what I have. So I'm thinking that piece there, and I'm really just playing with my fabrics, and I think I want to make sure that each piece is showing, so I can still see these on this side here. Do I want to go that way, or I think I'd like to turn that around so I get a little bit of this dark showing, that grunge. I think I need to leave. The reason I moved that was because I'm worried that if I don't leave a little bit of that showing there, I could potentially end up having none showing once I layer some of these smaller pieces. So, and I think I would like that in here. Again, keeping the word connected in mind. So basically the top piece is connected to the piece underneath, and then there's a domino effect because that piece is then connected to the piece underneath, and that piece is connected to the piece underneath. That's kind of where my mind was going when I was doing this. And like I said, it's not something I set out to do initially. It just kind of happened. Look at the colouring on the bottom of this. I love that. Like that there. I do have a couple of longer pieces here, so pop that across there. And this one here, I'm going to just fold in half and separate them so I can see that it's extra long. I could fray that, but I'm not going to at this stage. And I have just a few pieces left. Maybe I want to go. If I just press those down, it kind of makes them stay in place. I want that to come. This piece here was lined up with this piece. I want that separation, so it's kind of, it gives your eye somewhere to move to, almost stepped, I suppose. Oh, look at the colour of that. Yummy. Just trying to work out where I want this piece. I think I want to go under here. I'm not actually sure I'm putting this back where I had it initially, but that's okay. It's my artwork, so I reserve the right to change the way it's coming together. I was just looking to see where this piece was coming from. I wasn't sure if it was a smaller square, but it's actually part of this one, so and then this is the last piece of the puzzle. And I think I want that under. Might want to pop that across. So I'm trying not to line up the edge of this with the edge of this piece. I want it to overlap just ever so slightly. Again, giving steps, giving variation for the eye to travel. And there I have my finished temporary art piece, and I love it. Okay, and then my threads. My threads I try and place so that I'm not covering a whole piece of fabric. Again, I want to be able to see each individual piece. So I'm looking at what I'm covering. This piece here is still down here. This piece here is still here. This piece here, I have pieces above and below. And the same with whatever's in the corner here, I can see. And that is how I stay connected. Love that. Love, love, love. Okay, so I just have to show you my papers. I wasn't sure I had the right ones, but I'm pretty sure this is it. They're a really unusual color, like a almost a bluey green, which I guess, I don't know, maybe these are the ones that go with the blueberry, and maybe I've accidentally mixed those up. I'm just thinking about the color tones. It's not quite working with me because this effectively is supposed to be, where did I just see? The mango and strawberry. And I'm not seeing red or yellow in these. Even a combination of red or yellow doesn't make green, but a blueberry has that blue tone. I'm not sure. I feel like this is the right way around because of the paper towel. So I'll show you the paper towel. See, that has that purple effect in it. So I'm thinking perhaps I swapped them around accidentally. But this one here, this is the piece of paper towel that I laid the tea bags on to once I'd finished with the tea stain, or sorry, once they diffused in the water. And so you can see I have, I think this was the mango and strawberry, and this was the blueberry. Blackberry, is it? I can't remember the other one. And I really love that paper towel. I love the way that's turned out. So I apologize if I have my results the wrong way around, but honestly, you can get an idea of what colors are possible, and if you want to try it yourself, you'll know what I've used at least, and you get to do a little experimenting. So you can see this bottom piece. This is the piece that I had at the bottom of the pile. This yellow here, I'm quite sure that was my indicator that it was the mango and strawberry paper. But the colour threw me when I first picked it up. So that takes me to what I said about the tea staining. You just don't necessarily know using the herbal teas exactly what your colour results will be, whereas the paint, it comes out true to whatever the paint colour is. So this is a bit more of an experiment, but who doesn't love playing? Love, love, love. And you can see here I've saturated all of these papers. I haven't actually pulled the water and just placed the paper on top, like the next piece of paper on top, so I don't have any that have that more white backing with this particular set. It wasn't something that I thought of straight away when I was doing the staining with the paper. I was just trying to use up the stain that I had, and I'm pretty sure with this one I had quite a lot of excess. So okay, so they are all of my experiments, and I'm so excited to have finally been able to share with you. The other thing I forgot to mention was that when I was drying the fabrics, because I have them drying all scrunched up, I left them like that for a little while. I did make sure I was doing it on a quite warm day, and I rotated them after maybe a half hour or so, perhaps a little bit longer. I sort of wait until the colouring comes out with that more grungy marking, and then I turn them over and rotate them so that I can try and stop any mold from forming in the bottom rather than leaving them in the same position the whole time. So I wanted to point that out. And I did the same with both the tea stained fabrics and the paint stained fabrics. So just kept them rotated, and then when they got to a certain point, and I had some markings on them that I was happy with, I then opened them out and sort of laid them gently on top of each other to finish off drying so that they weren't scrunched up as much. The air could get to all parts of the fabric. So, okay, so again, the hashtag to use, hashtag temporary art mojo booster dash PALM, paper and lace moments. I will pop that on the screen now. I will also put the hashtag in the description of this video, and I hope you all take me up on the challenge. I hope you have a little bit of fun with some temporary art yourself, and I truly recommend having a play with some fabric and paper staining using these methods. They were so fun, and I cannot wait to start using them in my crafting. Thank you again to Susan Taylor Brown for everything that you do and everything that you share. And I look forward to seeing you all soon, everybody. Please stay safe, stay inspired, and happy crafting. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.